Just when I thought I could give the mainstream media some credit, they decide to crash out, embarrass themselves, and once again prove they can't be trusted. We're going to watch them lie and spin a story in this very video. Also going to do a quick debate recap, so let's get into it.
Morning to you. What was your takeaway from last night, and how did it compare to the French debate?
A lot feistier than the French debate, a lot more animated. I would say not just more spirited, but also more substantive. It was quite a broad, rich debate. They touched on a lot of topics and went pretty deep on a number of topics. But, you know, if I can just, I guess, scroll to the finish line, the question for these leaders' debates always is, did we see something that fundamentally altered the trajectory of the election race? And I don't think that we did. I think that Mr. Carney got a little lucky. The first section of the debate, the first 20, 30 minutes, when chances are that's going to have the highest viewership, was focused on Trump and tariffs. That's the ballot question he wants. That allowed him, even though he was under fire from all sides, and he really was, he was getting it from every other leader, it allowed him to sort of slow the thing down, focus on his strengths, demonstrate his calm, his capability, and it really left the impression that he was in full command.
Yeah, so when it comes to my personal opinion on the debate, and you guys can absolutely weigh in. Actually, I'd prefer if you commented and tell me if you think that this is right or not. I think the debate actually went well for both Pierre and Carney. I don't think Carney looked bad enough to lose the on-the-fence voters, the swing voters that I was hoping he was going to provide more blunders. And the only real major blunder, in my opinion, and I did live stream it, so if you guys want me to do more live streams and stuff, comment down below on that. But in real time, when he asked the security clearance question, I said right away, why did he ask that question? That's the dumbest question he could have asked, because he gave Pierre the biggest, clearest platform to finally say in front of everybody, and this is one, you know, it wasn't like a policy announcement by Pierre, it's when people from both sides would have been watching the debate, and he got to say, actually, if I were to have done that, it would have been a gag order, and he gave his answer, and he spun it perfectly, and that was the thing that made him look good, and made Carney look bad in the sense that he shouldn't have asked that, but it still wasn't, like, embarrassing enough for Carney. We needed to see major blunders, and he was getting attacked by all three leaders, and there was not a big enough mix-up. He didn't say anything good. He didn't say anything strong. He didn't say anything powerful that made you like Carney. But because so many liberals are already like, we got to vote for him, we got to vote for him, we needed him to embarrass himself more, basically, to lose some of those swing voters. I thought Pierre looked solid. He looked reliable. If you wanted to say that he won the debate, you could certainly say that. But he definitely toned down his feistiness, especially when it comes to, we've seen him in the House. We've seen him go after Trudeau. We've seen him go after other ministers, and he was really, really reserved last night. But I think that was the game plan, because I've seen a lot of people say online, oh, you know, he showed his emotional care. Pierre showed that he actually cares about Canadians. He cares about his supporters. So I think he still came off with positive spin. I don't know if it was enough. Maybe it was enough for some of the swing voters who were like, oh, I thought Pierre was going to be way more Trumpian than that. And then he ended up being a pretty reserved, you know, pretty professional sounding guy, because even he didn't have the gotcha moments that we are used to seeing. He definitely had good points. He asked good questions, and he spun things on Carney. So like, he wasn't embarrassing by any means. Like, again, because in my opinion, the only reason I'm talking about these two specifically, and actually let's hear what the rest of this guy has to say about this, because I do want to touch on Jagmeet and Blanchette.
Debate went on. I actually thought that Pierre Poilievre had a number of much stronger moments. He was outstanding on crime, at least in terms of what his objectives must have been. But I think fundamentally, when you look at this, I'll be surprised if we learn 3, 4, 5 days from now that the polls show that something dramatic occurred that fundamentally upsets where this race is headed. And that, therefore, is probably good news for Mark Carney, because he's the front runner.
So you don't think anything happened to move the needle last night?
I don't think so. I will be watching to see if Jagmeet Singh gets rewarded, not just for last night, but both nights, he stood out as the most aggressive of all the leaders on stage. Obviously, the NDP face extremely low polling numbers. A really dire situation electorally awaits them. And so he left it all on the table, man. He went out there and he was interrupting other leaders. He was needling Pierre Poilievre very aggressively. Tonight, I should say last night, he also went after Mr. Carney a number of times. So we'll see if that gets rewarded in any way, shape, or form.
So, yes, absolutely. Jagmeet had, I think, the most embarrassing, pathetic performance ever. He was given so much time to answer questions. He'd had no substance on anything. He is an embarrassment of a Canadian leader. I don't know why that freak is on stage. He's weird to look at, and he sucks. He has no good ideas. He has no substance. We've seen for the last 10 years, this guy has no backbone. He has no spine. So for him to lash out on the stage and pretend like he's a tough guy with, one, some of the things being lies, a lot of them being lies, and two, like he just kept lashing out at Pierre. It was so frustrating to watch him do that because, again, it was embarrassing. There should have only been two leaders on stage. It should have been Pierre and Mark Carney, because Blanchette, as much as Blanchette had a bunch of funny one-liners, and I will say to his credit, okay, let's give him some credit. Let's give him the benefit of the doubt. If you are from Quebec, he did a good job for Quebec. His job last night was to fight for Quebec, but he made it explicitly clear when he said, "I don't want to be prime minister." That is a direct quote from Blanchette. He said he doesn't want to be prime minister. If that's the case, then why are you on stage for the prime minister, federal leader debate as somebody saying, I don't want to actually do this job. I don't want to be federal leader. I don't want to be prime minister. So Jagmeet was a waste of time, waste of space, hot air, dumb, idiot, loser. Blanchette, not a dumb, idiot, loser, actually a good politician if you are from Quebec. He should not be included in these leadership debates. I actually think Quebec should just leave Canada. I don't think people swung their vote either way last night. I think if anybody was leaning either way, they probably stay that way. And then I don't think the other two parties won any more votes. But the reason what we got to get into is this insane story that started, we could tell this entire thing was being set up from the beginning. The mainstream media was going to misrepresent the entire situation, and they crashed out. You're an embarrassment of a media organizations, knowing that they lied to us. Let's get into this.
It's been a difficult broadcast today to sort of like stay on the air and stay focused when that's been going on around us, you know, and even just now we've had people coming over while we're live on the air, you know, as we try to deal with things. We're inside a secure perimeter, so you wouldn't think you would need security to be able to do a live broadcast inside a fully accredited media environment. I don't know what happened in that media room, though I'm sure there's going to be video of that and what happened on this set on the internet, if it's not there already, because this will be something used to try to discredit us, discredit the CBC, discredit professional mainstream media, and raise money off it. But, you know, last night, Canadians got to see, JD, what we all kind of see sometimes in these things. We're told not to make too big a deal out of it, not make it about us, but no, this is an election and it's a leaders debate, man. And this is just nonsense that this is able to happen to people.
Yeah,
sorry. Go ahead, JD.
Guess what, David? Yesterday, Quebecers got to see those people in action, and they were not impressed.
So they keep saying this, and don't get me wrong. I had a problem with the question of like, hey, Mr. Carney, how many genders are there? Because that's just not good journalism. You have a one-on-one question with Mark Carney, and that's what you try to ask him. But the other questions were real, like serious questions that require answers from our federal leaders. So I didn't have a problem with that. And, you know, the fact that the mainstream media has made it their goal to discredit Rebel News. And ironically, the funny thing is, I actually do find Rebel News as being pretty inflammatory. That is kind of their MO. They go to these events, they try to get reactions. In this scenario, this is the funny thing. In this scenario, they didn't do anything wrong, in my personal opinion. There were so many times in Rebels history that they have been clearly just trying to start stuff. It wasn't this time. In all of the clips, you can see it was the left-wing journalists who instigated this entire event, and you could see it in his language there. They were obviously given this, the talking point of security, secure this, secure that, and all these videos are worth watching, guys, because we can see their spin, what they chose to cover. Because look at this, listen to Rosemary Barton and their freaking crew just crying and complaining, and it's important to hear what they say here, because we're going to show what the actual story is of what happened, because they keep talking, oh, we're under threat, security, all these things. Watch what they're saying.
There are, just so people understand, there are a series of police officers stationed behind us to make sure that we
Just so
remain
people
safe
understand.
and that the media get out safely. They were not altercations between journalists inside the media room, and there was no altercation between journalists that happened on David's set. These were right-wing people that publish their own agenda and websites who confronted journalists inside the media center, who confronted David on his set, who directly and personally confronted me inside the media center. These are people that the commission decided to accredit.
How dare these people confront you? By confront, do you mean ask questions? Did a journalist dare to ask you questions? First of all, saying that they're causing these altercations, doing all these things. We just watched that idiot lie to us in real time on air. Oh, well, they're just trying to spin their agenda. Are they CBC? Are they trying to spin their agenda? Can you think of any other mainstream news organization that gets hundreds of millions of dollars from the government that spins agendas? Are we watching this happen right now?
And that is where we are now. The situation deteriorated quickly.
Yeah.
In terms
Whose
of
fault was
how
that?
those people were behaving inside a professional media center where you were supposed to be doing your job, and that has left us with no scrums and a strange security situation on a night where we should be focused on the things that you want to ask us about.
It certainly didn't look like this
Just
last
one
night.
point on that. We are inside a secure perimeter. You have to go through screening processes that involve the RCMP. This set we are on, they came in with bomb-sniffing dogs, searched our bags to make sure everything was safe. That's to make sure the leaders are safe and everybody in here is safe. And for whatever reason, the way this evolved throughout the day and yesterday, the Montreal police are here putting up caution tape, escorting people out. And the leaders of Canada's 4 parties who were able to participate in this debate, because they, what was the phrase? Didn't feel they could provide or guarantee a proper environment.
This is disgusting misrepresentation of the facts. This is disgusting misrepresentation of what happened. All 3 of those journalists are horrible for what they're saying. I am not joking. That is disgusting behavior, because they just compared their security threats to needing bomb-sniffing dogs, all of these things. They're being so hyperbolic, saying how unsafe it is because of these altercations and security breaches and all these things. When you guys see the clips of what happened, it is going to be so... Oh, I'm trying so hard not to swear so much, but watching these stupid people, it's infuriating how much they lied and misrepresented the situation, because they blamed right-wing alternative media, right-wing, right-wing, right-wing. Oh, well, let's see who actually was calling out all the people. Because here's an extremely left-wing journalist. I'm going to call him a wacko, a woke weirdo, freak, yelling at Keane Bexter, who is not related to Rebel News, keeps calling him Rebel News, just because he's sitting behind him. How dare he sit behind him?
Homophobic? That's what
Do you have friends that get pretty homophobic at times?
Yeah, most of my gay friends.
Most of your gay friends.
Do you know how much? Do you know how fast? What was it? What was the F thing he used?
You say it.
He said, yeah,
It was a,
yeah.
That's run through my gay friends like wildfire. They love it.
They're 30.
Yeah, okay.
Sorry,
So
who are you?
He wasn't a politician, so he was. This was when he was.
He was a 30-year-old man.
Okay.
Who
So
called?
keep in mind, what's happening right now is they are sitting in a quiet press room, and this guy is yelling at him from, obviously he's just in front of him, but he's confronting him, and he, as Keane was sitting there, this guy is clearly turned around. So he is the one addressing Keane here, saying, hey, look, I'm going to cause this confrontation.
Gay men
The whole
perverse.
thing's being recorded.
Yeah, I think I've read through your story, and I know you don't even believe that that's what he said.
Oh, I 100% because I read it. I read it that's what he said.
It too. And you're
okay.
I mean, you don't have any sort of morals or scruples. So
okay.
You just throw it wherever you want. But I read it, and I know you're actually smarter than you pretend to be. So I know you know what he was.
So he typed the words on Facebook, perverse, referring to gay men. No, just.
So keep in mind, this goes on for quite a while. Of this guy just yelling at Keem. There's also clips of this guy yelling across the room at Ezra Levant from Rebel Media, yelling across the room. So, and then they're going, oh, Ezra, you got to leave. He's going, this guy's yelling at me, which again, normally I would say Rebel is the instigator. In this case, we've got so many angles because this guy too is yelling at Ezra, blaming Ezra for that guy's behavior.
So I don't think that Keem Bexty is independent of you. I don't believe that.
Keem because we're friends. We don't have 13 people here. We have 5 people here, which is much less than the CBC. You've got to control your emotions. I know you don't like being a rebel news, and that's okay.
What I don't like, Ezra, is you preventing us from being able to ask questions on behalf of the public.
How have I done that?
You created a circus here before this debate started. You created a security incident.
No.
You created a security incident before this debate started.
That guy from the Hill Times.
When you got into a screaming match with people before this debate started.
No, Ezra never screamed.
Justification. So I don't think.
So right there, again, we just watched a journalist who saw the entire interaction go, you were in a screaming match. You caused that altercation and this thing before this all started. No, he didn't. First of all, Ezra didn't raise his voice once. Actually, funny enough, in one of the clips, the Hill reporter goes, oh, you think talking calm means you're not in the wrong? Because Ezra's going, hey, control yourself. We need to behave. This is a professional situation. And he's telling him, hey, maybe calm down. He was trying to de-escalate the entire time. And as a result, we have this loser going, well, I'm mad at you because you started these things, calling him out, misrepresenting the situation while we all know what's happening. Like, if this is these people are the ones writing the articles, writing the news stories, this is the mainstream media we're supposed to trust. If in real time, these journalists cannot get the story right or blatantly lie, which in the next clip I'm going to show you, because this clip in particular shows them lying. Once again, it was disgusting. Watch this. So keep in mind, this guy we're going to see lie right in front of our face is going to say that something happened to him, which didn't. And then this guy is one of the mainstream voices of news in Canada who gets to control what we see, what we hear, the messaging that's done. And he's going to lie right now.
Oh, Terry Gillen!
Look at that. Did you guys see that? It's really important because here's where his lie is going to be. David Menzies puts the camera out in front of him, which is a little close, I will say, but technically there's cameras all around. You were at a press event. This is a public event. Cameras are going to be there. Yes, he's close, but he didn't touch him. Watch it again.
Oh, Terry Gillen!
Boom, smacks the camera out of his hand.
Terry Gillen!
What are you gonna? Bro, you guys are out.
And then listen to what he says here, because this is really important. We just watched him smack the camera out of Menzies' hand. Look at this.
You touched me with that.
You touched me with that. No, he didn't. We have it on camera. So this guy is supposed to be trustworthy. I bet you that guy makes $200,000 a year or more in his position. So we are now watching a certified liar who, because I'm not even going to say alleged because we just watched it happen, who's probably making over $200,000 a year on government money, say, oh, well, you just touched me with that. You just did that. No, he didn't. We're watching it happen.
Goddamn liar.
You're a liar.
Oh, yeah, nice try, guys. You just hit me.
Hits him again. He hits him again. Yes, Menzies is close. It is uncomfortably close, but he didn't touch him, and he smacked the camera out of his hand. So was what was happening annoying? Sure, but not illegal at all, and this guy just lied. So once again...
Police!
No, the police is bad.
I love they don't even go to the police because the police is always going to take the side of CBC and mainstream media. But if you made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching. You absolutely rock. We've seen the importance of independent journalism. These guys were out there showing what truly happened. CBC, CTV, all of these people misrepresenting it, trying to discredit them as journalists, trying to discredit anybody who's a small journalist. So thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe. It gets these videos in front of more people. It helps this channel grow. And then we can show people how mainstream media keeps lying. Have a great rest of your day.